Okay, greetings. Welcome. This is actually the date that it is. It is June 13th, and on your screen, on your screen is me. Anyway, I'm kind of a little discombobulated. I don't know why I'm so discombobulated right now, but so it is June 13th, 2016. It's the summer, but you're getting one of my favorite assignments that I like to give, and I really like it in the summer because I'm having you write 2 essays. Believe it or not, 3 paragraphs. That's all. Don't panic. So homework 3 is actually you're going to read an article about is algebra 2 necessary as mandatory? Mandatory. Now, in my field and what I do, and with all my colleagues and everybody, especially everybody upstairs in engineering, of course, algebra 2 is was very necessary in our high school years. However, for 97% of the population that does not go into a hardcore STEM field, algebra 2 is probably not necessary. And it should be an elective. Why we still require, I'm on my soapbox here, why we still require college algebra for you to get your degree from UMKC, I have no idea, except to keep the math department employed. That's to keep their GTAs happy, I guess. I don't know. Um, it's I think college algebra is very important for my algebra for my physics 1 and 2 students that have already mastered, but most of the students that are taking physics 210 and 220 had algebra 2 and probably even had um, uh, calculus in high school, had AP Calc or dual credit calculus in high school. But as far as uh, as far as college algebra, um, for why a theater major needs college algebra to graduate, I have no idea. There are some cool stuff. I wouldn't mind at all partnering with the theater department and looking at sound and the physics of sound, why carpet in a church is a bad idea. I'm going back to my church, but anyway, especially when you're an acoustic guitar player like I am, a classical guitarist like I am, and you're asked to play in church every once in a while. I needed an amplifier, because the sound didn't carry. Or lighting, which is very cool part of it. Some of you are more into the creative arts, maybe even into animation and things like that. Um, do you need college algebra? The mathematics that underlies animation, the actual mathematics where they built the programs that you use to do animation, is beyond the scope of any undergraduate degree in mathematics. That is PhD level. That is off the charts, crazy mathematics, which is cool and fun to see. In fact, I've got a little video that I'm going to try and find and show you on how they made Dash, the mathematics behind what goes on at Pixar. But there's a lot of people who work at Pixar that aren't techies, that don't have a huge math background. They're more artists. They're those kinds of folks. So anyway, what about the medical field? What about nursing? Sure, and there's shortages in there. There's short and the whole STEM field, that there's a shortage in the STEM field, is a bogus statement that has absolute in the United States to keep us. We've got to remain the number one economic power in the world. Why? What difference does it make? Germany's not the number one economic power in the world, and they seem happy. The Japanese aren't the number one economic power in the world, and they seem happy. My life wouldn't change if all of a sudden we became the number 2 economic power in the world. It would not. So I don't get this. And plus there's absolutely no correlation, zero correlation between teaching our math proficiency in our K-12 education and our economic development. People have been using that argument for a long time. The Obama administration has used it, when Arnie Duncan used it, and it's basically a BS argument. There's no show me a study which shows that that's true, and I might start believe. I might change my tune a little bit. But anyway, you probably think it's odd that someone who teaches in the physics department um, doesn't see a need for. I see a great need for algebra 2. I see a great need for it to be an elective and not required. I see a great need for college algebra. I see it to be an elective and not required for any kind of graduation. There's other cool stuff we could be doing that you might find interesting. All right, so that's my opinion, but this is all opinion. This is what a college education is supposed to be all about. You're supposed to form, you're supposed to get some knowledge and form your opinions, and make them reasoned and be able to make a reasoned argument for things, and so that a democracy thrives. That's the purpose behind a college education. It is not, and I could assign other articles about what is the purpose of a liberal arts education or a college education. Basically, the bottom line is so that you're an informed citizen, so that you can um, make an informed decision when you vote or when there's an issue that comes up and all that. And I think I would be remiss, since it is 2 days after this horrific shooting, not to mention that having a good liberal education is the way we tackle this problem. Um, that came from a very disturbed young man who heard too much hate speech in his life, and um, he went off the deep end. Does that make? And so, but I'm starting to see things. I don't do Facebook, but I'm starting to see in this 24-hour news cycle that we have, starting to see um, casting aspersions on our people who worship or who worship differently, who do of the Muslim religion, which is that's ridiculous, and um, there are starting to cast aspersions on, and then of course there's there's the anti-gun folks saying, see what happens when you allow assault weapons to be so easily purchased, and then there's the pro-gun people saying, see what happens when you don't allow people to carry weapons, concealed carry weapons. I don't think either one of those arguments are, well, the assault weapon argument, I'm like, why do you need? I mean, I was in an organization that used a lot of assault weapons for a long time, and assault weapons have one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to kill people, right? They are not like my son-in-law who has a bunch of sport rifles for hunting. They are one thing, they're to kill people. Hopefully in defense and not in offense, unless, of course, you're in the Marines or something. But kind of getting off track. But I'm saying all this because this is the way I want you to approach this assignment. That, yeah, we're taking a diversion from physics, but I've kind of beat you up a little bit on a lot of mathematics so far, and some of you may not have been that comfortable with it. Hopefully you worked it. It looks like you all are working it out pretty well. But to do this assignment and enjoy it, and it's the type of I think we need a lot more of these kinds of assignments. I think that was the whole idea behind our discourse thing and all that, which is now falling apart, but because we just didn't have the manpower to do it. So anyway, got way far stream, and my heart and support goes out to all the people that suffered from the horrific shooting that happened this weekend. And I think we should all be, and how we respond as a nation and how we respond as individuals, hopefully with intellect and care and concern, and not radicalism and hate, is the way that we do that. So I'll get off my soapbox now, and I'm going to go ahead and close the video part of this. And what I want you to do is, well, up here will be my intro to the thing. Here's videos for the assignments. There's 2 TED Talks I want you to watch. Yes, insufferable TED Talks. Sorry, but they're interesting. I've kind of found the second one on a whim, but I added it as a whim. And then the main thing though for homework 3 is the Harper's article on Algebra 2, and this article was actually won the best essay for 2014. Or it was written in 2013, but it's the best essay. In 2014, it won the award for best American essay written, and that's, so you'll read it. It's what my it's what my stepdaughter, who in this coming May will be finishing up her PhD in um, epidemiology and all that, and social and public health. Um, she calls it a Where's Waldo assignment. She got, because there was a lot of online courses that she had to take when she was, whether she was taking this, getting her PhD. She's getting it from UC Davis, and, and she hated it sometimes when it was just a Where's Waldo. Read these articles and answer these questions, and so that's basically what this is. All right, but then I want you to watch the 2 videos, and when you watch the 2 videos, I want you to write me 2 3-paragraph essays. All right, 2 essays. They're about 3 paragraphs long, and some of you, now one of them is, this is your, so the first essay will be, this is your chance to tell your Mr. Johnson story. When you watch the first TED Talk with the 8th grade teacher, you'll understand what that is, the John Bennett video. Was there a time when math was great and then all of a sudden the wheels fell off? I have seen essay after essay after essay of kids, of students that loved math from 2nd through, some started falling off the wagon in 3rd grade when they started going to the timed multiplication tests, which is about the stupidest pedagogy that there is. Okay, especially for students who are a little more introverted, and it all of a sudden is a competition. Now I'm going to be stupid, and I'm 8 years old, and I'm going to be stupid because I'm not as fast as the others. I'd rather you be right and slow than fast and wrong, but whatever. Stupid. Some people liked them. I didn't mind them, but anyway, and so people. So it's your chance to, and then some of you, and this is what invariably happens, will say, no, I always enjoyed math. And I'll look up and I'll say, well, who, and I will check you out on Pathway, because I've got my Pathway thing, and say, oh, he's an accounting major, or she's an accounting major. Of course, she had no problems with math. And so she's going into, I think finance and accounting are STEM fields. I mean, because you use a lot of mathematics and a lot of, but but you don't use any highfalutin math. I mean, once you get past, e to the x, that's about it. Coming up with all those derivatives and all those other financial, the credit default swaps and all those, that's very highfalutin mathematics. In fact, one of the biggest employers of PhDs in physics is the financial services industry, because they apply quantum mechanics type mathematics to financial models to place bets. Anyway, but so that's what that one's about. Some of you, so some of the articles, some of the paragraphs, I never had any problems in math class because this is what happened. And then the next one is you're going to watch a story about Laura Outerback on women, mathematics, and math anxiety. All right, so enjoy it. I'm going to shut up now and go ahead and record this, and I've got to go in and change the assignment due dates and all that, but enjoy this. And the homework 3, let's make due a week from Monday, and homeworks 4A and 4B will be due a week from Wednesday. All right, so we are done here, and stay safe this week. There's might be a few storms. but the main thing is the heat. Out here,